The city skyline blurred beneath the rain as Evelyn Hart gripped the edge of the rooftop, heart pounding in sync with the thunder overhead. Behind her, Damian Blackwell's hand tightened around hers, his protective grip a lifeline she didn't realize she needed. "Stay close," he commanded, eyes scanning the shadows. A masked figure stepped from the darkness, and in that instant, Evelyn realized the truth. The threat wasn't just from a rival company or an outside enemy. It was someone they had trusted. Someone inside. "Hello, Damian." "Hello, Evelyn," the figure said, a chilling smile curling on their lips. "You've been dancing to my game this whole time." Evelyn's chest tightened. Betrayal, danger, and a secret that could destroy everything they had fought for hung heavy in the stormy night. And then the rooftop shook. A bomb planted months ago, the one Adrian had whispered about, was about to change everything. Damian's jaw clenched. "We survive together," he said. "Or we don't survive at all." Lightning illuminated the scene, and in that instant, Evelyn realized, love, trust, and loyalty weren't just fragile, they were weapons, and the enemy knew exactly how to use them. Before diving into the gripping details of this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thrilling stories. Evelyn Hart had never imagined that her life could change with a single signature. Yet here she was, sitting across from Damian Blackwell, the enigmatic billionaire whose empire spanned continents and whose reputation for ruthlessness preceded him like a shadow. "6 months, Damian said, his deep voice steady, commanding. "That's all I need. Sign the contract, marry me, and help save Blackwell Industries from collapse. No love, no promises beyond the deal." Evelyn's heart skipped, not from fear, but from the strange pull she felt toward the man who could crush or save her with a flick of his pen. "I don't marry strangers," she whispered, though her trembling hand betrayed her curiosity. "Not strangers," he corrected, leaning forward, his storm-gray eyes locking onto hers. "Business partners." It began like a transaction: dinners at gilded restaurants, public appearances, and whispered conversations in boardrooms where the stakes were higher than anyone dared imagine. Evelyn learned to navigate Damian's world of luxury, power, and secrets. Damian learned to notice the small things: how she laughed, how she touched a stray strand of hair from her face, how her eyes softened when she thought he wasn't looking. And then, one rainy evening, everything shifted. A kiss. Electric. Forbidden. Accidental. Intentional. Neither could tell. But it shattered the rules they had sworn to follow. Yet as love tentatively bloomed between spreadsheets and stock reports, whispers of betrayal slithered through Damian's empire. Rivals whispered, and shadows moved where they shouldn't. Evelyn discovered a hidden ledger in Damian's office, a ledger containing names and secrets that could destroy everything: his company, their marriage, and the fragile trust they were building. "You should have stayed out of this," Damian growled, his hand gripping hers like a vice, his eyes stormy. "Some secrets are worth killing for." Evelyn's chest tightened. "And some truths are worth dying for?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Damian didn't answer. He only pressed his forehead to hers, and for a moment, the world outside their bubble, the lies, the danger, the betrayal, vanished. But outside, in the cold night, a car engine roared. Tires screeched. And someone, hidden in the shadows, was waiting. Watching. Evelyn felt the first real pang of fear. "Damian." Before he could respond, the sound of breaking glass shattered the night, and a masked figure lunged through the window. The masked intruder lunged through the shattered window, glass spraying like tiny diamonds across the marble floor. Damian reacted instantly, sweeping Evelyn behind him, his powerful body shielding hers. "Stay down," he barked, his voice calm yet sharp, the predator in him awakening. Evelyn's heart pounded in her chest as adrenaline surged. She saw the glint of a gun, or was it a knife, in the intruder's hand. Her instincts screamed to run, but Damian's presence anchored her. The intruder moved with calculated precision, circling them as if testing their defenses. And then, in a flash, a familiar voice, distorted but unmistakable, echoed through the chaos. "You shouldn't have dug into the ledger, Evelyn." She froze. It couldn't be? Damian's jaw tightened. "Who are you?" I'm someone who knows everything about you, the figure hissed, stepping into a sliver of moonlight. And now, I know about her too. Evelyn's blood ran cold. Everything she had thought she understood about Damian, his wealth, his empire, his secrets, was just the surface. Damian's hand gripped hers tightly, and she realized, for the first time, that love wasn't just a risk, it was a weapon. A dangerous, intoxicating weapon that could either save them or destroy them. The intruder lunged. Damian countered with a strength that seemed superhuman, but Evelyn caught a flash of panic in his eyes. Not for himself, for her. Glass cut her arm as she tried to move, but Damian held her steady. "Trust me," he said, the words rough, almost desperate. "I do," she whispered, even as fear clawed at her. But before they could act, the intruder vanished into the night, leaving only the shattered window and an envelope lying on the floor. Damian picked it up, his face unreadable. Evelyn reached for it, and he let her, though his hand hovered protectively over hers. Inside was a single photograph, her, alone, smiling, taken from somewhere she didn't recognize. And scribbled in red across the corner were 3 words. "She knows everything." Evelyn looked up at Damian. His gray eyes were darker than ever, haunted. "We're not just fighting for the company anymore," he murmured. "We're fighting for each other. And someone wants one of us dead." A storm raged outside, but inside Blackwell's penthouse, another kind of storm had just begun. One that neither business nor contract could contain. The envelope still trembled in Evelyn's hand, the words, "She knows everything," seared into her mind. Damian's face, usually impenetrable, was now a mask of fury and fear. "We need to figure out who's behind this," he said, voice low, almost growling. "And fast." Evelyn swallowed hard. "Someone from your company?" He shook his head. "It could be anyone. Rivals. Ex-associates. Even someone I trusted." His words hung in the air like smoke, a warning Evelyn didn't want to hear. Damian's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, eyes narrowing. "They're inside," he said flatly. "Someone's been feeding information from within the company. And they're coming for us." Before Evelyn could ask more, the lights flickered and went out. Darkness swallowed the room, broken only by the occasional flash of lightning outside. Evelyn felt Damian's hand on her back, guiding her. His touch was grounding, but it also sent a shiver down her spine. "Stay close," he whispered. And then, almost impossibly close, he leaned in. "I don't care about contracts anymore, Evelyn. I care about you." Her breath caught. "Damian," she whispered, heart hammering. His words, heavy with something unspoken, ignited a fire between them that no danger could quell. Lightning illuminated his face just as their lips met, a desperate, scorching kiss. Passion, fear, and longing collided. Evelyn wrapped her arms around him, forgetting contracts, strategies, and even survival, if only for a moment. The sound of shattering glass yanked them back to reality. Someone, or something, was moving through the penthouse. Damian's eyes hardened. "We fight together. No mistakes." As they moved through the dark corridors, Evelyn noticed subtle signs. A picture slightly tilted, a laptop left open, footprints in the marble dust. The betrayal wasn't just external, it was inside. Someone they trusted. Then, at the end of the hall, a figure stepped into the flickering light. A familiar silhouette, one Evelyn never expected to see, someone she thought was an ally. "Hello, Damian." "Hello, Evelyn," the figure said, a cold, venomous smile curling on their lips. Evelyn froze. Damian's hand tightened on hers. "Why?" he demanded. The figure tilted their head, eyes glinting in the stormy light. "Because some secrets are worth more than love, and some betrayals are worth everything." Before they could react, the figure pressed a button in their hand. An explosion rocked the building. Smoke and fire filled the air, and the ground beneath them trembled violently. Evelyn screamed. Damian pulled her close, shielding her body with his. But as the flames rose and the smoke thickened, Evelyn realized one terrifying truth. Someone had orchestrated this from the very beginning, and it was never just about the company. And in that instant, she knew their 6-month contract had become a deadly gamble where love might be the only thing that could save them, or the only thing that could destroy them. Smoke choked the hallways of Blackwell penthouse. Evelyn coughed, shielding her eyes as Damian's hand gripped hers like a lifeline. Each step they took was uncertain, the building groaning under the force of the explosion. "We need to get to the roof," Damian barked. "Helicopter extraction. Move." Evelyn followed, heart pounding, not just from fear, but from the raw intensity of Damian pressed against her. Every brush of his hand, every protective gesture, sent a surge of heat through her body. 6 months ago, she had thought marriage was a business. Now it was survival, and something far more dangerous. They reached the rooftop, rain lashing against their faces. A helicopter waited, rotors slicing through the stormy night. But before they could board, a voice cut through the chaos. "Going somewhere?" Evelyn turned. Her stomach dropped. Standing in the shadow of the building was someone they trusted most, Adrian Vale, Damian's right-hand man, the one who had always been loyal, until now. "Adrian?" Damian's voice was sharp, deadly. "Why?" Adrian smiled, but it was a smile devoid of warmth. Because loyalty has a price, Damian. And love is a weakness I cannot allow to ruin everything I've built, or everything you've built." Evelyn's mind raced. Adrian had access to everything. The ledger, the secrets, even their marriage. Every moment of trust now felt like a knife twisting in her chest. "You've been working with them," Damian growled, stepping in front of Evelyn. "All of it. The threats, the explosions, all of it." Adrian nodded, eyes cold. "Everything to protect the future. Sometimes sacrifices are necessary. Some of us, we know what needs to be done." Evelyn felt her legs weaken. She hadn't just fallen for Damian, she had stepped into a battlefield she didn't fully understand. And now, betrayal stood before them in human form. Damian's hand tightened on hers. "Evelyn, jump," he ordered. "Now." She obeyed instinctively, diving toward the waiting helicopter. Damian followed, but as the rotors lifted them into the stormy night, Evelyn caught one last glance at Adrian. His expression was calm, almost proud, and in that moment, she realized the truth: the war was far from over. As the city lights blurred beneath them, Damian's voice broke through the roar of the wind. "They want me, but they'll never have you. Not if I can stop them." Evelyn leaned into him, heart still racing from fear, betrayal, and something else. A deep, undeniable need. "Then we fight together," she whispered. Damian's eyes softened, a storm within them calming for just a heartbeat. "Together," he echoed. But far below, in the shadows of the ruined penthouse, Adrian picked up a small device, a tracker. His lips curled into a chilling smile. "They're flying right into my trap." And somewhere, hidden in the dark corners of the city, another figure watched the helicopter disappear into the storm, whispering, "The real game has only just begun." The helicopter sliced through the stormy night, wind tearing at Evelyn's hair. She clutched Damian's arm, heart racing, not just from fear, but from the undeniable pull between them. In the chaos of explosions, betrayal, and secrets, something fierce and uncontainable had blossomed: love. Damian's eyes never left hers. "Evelyn, listen to me. Nothing else matters right now. Not the company, not Adrian, not anything. Just us. Survive. Together. I'm not letting you fight alone," she said, her voice trembling but resolute. He pulled her into his arms, holding her as if the storm itself couldn't reach them. And for the first time in months, the 6-month contract, the business agreements, the walls they'd built around their hearts, they all crumbled. They kissed, fierce and desperate, a declaration of defiance against the world that wanted to tear them apart. But even in the safety of each other's embrace, danger loomed. Below, the city lights flickered through the rain. Adrian's plan was unfolding perfectly. Damian's empire was in chaos, the board divided, and trust, once unshakable, was fractured. And Adrian wasn't alone. Someone else, someone unexpected, had been orchestrating events from the shadows. Damian, Evelyn whispered, pulling back slightly, her eyes searching his. There's more, isn't there? He swallowed hard, jaw tight. Yes. Adrian is just the beginning. Someone higher up, someone closer, has been manipulating us from the start. Evelyn's stomach dropped. The betrayal wasn't just external, it was intimate. Someone they had welcomed into their lives, perhaps even into their hearts, had been playing them. The helicopter touched down on a private helipad outside the city. Damian helped Evelyn out, scanning the perimeter, every muscle tense, every sense alert. And then she saw it. A single figure waiting in the shadows, leaning casually against a black SUV, watching them with a familiar, unsettling calm. Damian's grip on her tightened. Evelyn, you meet the one who's been pulling all the strings. The person who might destroy everything we've fought for. The figure stepped forward into the dim light. Evelyn's heart stopped. She knew that face. She had trusted them once. I wondered how long it would take you to figure it out, the figure said, a chilling smile curling on their lips. But don't worry. The real fun is just beginning. Evelyn gasped, and Damian's hand clenched hers so tightly it left bruises. The storm raged around them, lightning illuminating the city below. And in that moment, one truth was undeniable. Love alone might not be enough to survive what was coming. The figure in the shadows finally stepped fully into the light. Evelyn's stomach twisted. It was someone she had trusted implicitly, someone she had confided in, laughed with, and even begun to consider a friend. Is it really you? She whispered, disbelief and fury mixing in her voice. Yes, Evelyn, the figure said, voice calm, almost casual, like delivering bad news over tea. And I've been one step ahead of you both the entire time. Damian's jaw tightened. Why betray us? Everything we've done, everything we've built. Why betray us? Everything we've done, everything we've built. His voice broke slightly, revealing the vulnerability he never let anyone see. Because, the betrayer said, stepping closer, sometimes love and loyalty are weaknesses. And in this world, weakness costs everything. Evelyn's heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the raw, searing anger of being deceived. Her mind raced. How could someone so close orchestrate Adrian's chaos, the explosions, the threats, all while smiling in her face? Damian stepped in front of her, shielding her from the predator who had once been a friend. You made a mistake, he said coldly, underestimating us. Underestimating her. Evelyn blinked, heart racing. What do you mean? Damian's eyes met hers, fierce and intense. I trust you, Evelyn. And I would follow you into hell if I had to. You're stronger than anyone realizes, and together, we're unstoppable. The betrayer's smile faltered for the first time. Bold words for someone about to lose everything. A tense standoff followed. Lightning illuminated the rooftop, casting long shadows over the three of them. Then, Adrian's voice crackled through a hidden earpiece, panic creeping in. The extraction, it's compromised. She's not supposed to. Damian moved faster than thought, pulling Evelyn behind a barrier as a barrage of gunfire erupted. Smoke filled the air. Evelyn's hands were shaking, but her mind was sharp. Every lesson Damian had taught her about strategy and survival kicked in. This isn't just a game, she said, gripping his arm. We end this now. Damian nodded, lips brushing hers in a fleeting, desperate kiss. Together, he whispered. They moved in perfect synchronization. Damian attacking, Evelyn supporting, their combined strength defying their enemies. But just as they gained the upper hand, the betrayer pulled out a small, familiar device, the trigger to a bomb planted beneath the building. Evelyn's eyes widened. Damian? He froze, realization dawning. No, it can't be. The rooftop trembled violently, smoke and fire licking the edges. Evelyn grabbed Damian's hand. We survive. Together. Whatever it takes. The betrayer smiled one last time, stepping back into the shadows. Love may save you, or it may destroy you. Either way, the final act begins now. And then, before anyone could move, the building shuddered. Sirens wailed in the distance, and the helicopter they had just escaped from hovered precariously. Evelyn's grip on Damian tightened. Hold on. I'm not letting go. Damian's eyes softened, fierce and tender all at once. Never, he vowed. The camera of fate, or the reader's imagination, pauses there, two lovers standing on the edge of life and death, surrounded by fire, betrayal, and a storm that isn't just outside but in their hearts. And the final question hangs in the air. Will love be enough to survive, or is this the beginning of the end? The rooftop trembled beneath their feet, fire roaring along the edges as the storm outside mirrored the chaos within. Evelyn's hair plastered to her face, rain mingling with sweat and smoke. Her heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the raw intensity of standing beside Damian, the man she had come to love more than she ever thought possible. Damian's jaw was set, eyes scanning the shadows for the betrayer. Evelyn, stay close. No distractions. I'm not leaving your side, she said, voice firm despite the terror in her chest. Not now, not ever. They moved cautiously, every instinct honed by danger. Then, from the shadows, the betrayer emerged, smiling, almost serene, as if this was a game and they were already winning. You really think you can survive this? The betrayer taunted, stepping closer. After everything, love won't save you. Loyalty won't save you. Only sacrifice will. Damian stepped in front of Evelyn, fists clenched. We fight together. Always. Evelyn drew herself up, courage surging through her. No more games. Your reign ends tonight. The betrayer's eyes flickered, just for a moment, but it was enough. Evelyn lunged, knocking the device out of their hands, while Damian tackled the betrayer, the two of them struggling amidst the rain-slick rooftop. Sparks flew as metal clanged, thunder echoing over their battle. But then the betrayer laughed, a chilling, triumphant sound, and pressed a hidden button. The building shuddered violently. A deep rumble warned them. The bomb Adrian had mentioned was armed, ready to annihilate everything. Evelyn's heart stopped. You have to? Together, he interrupted, grabbing her hand. We survive together. No one else, no one leaves behind. Trust me. The wind howled, the fire encroaching, and their fight became a desperate race against time. Damian and Evelyn moved as one, every strike, every move, perfectly synchronized. Finally, with a combination of sheer strength, ingenuity, and determination, they disarmed the bomb with seconds to spare, sending the betrayer sprawling into the rain. Panting, drenched, and shaking, Damian pulled Evelyn into his arms. Their lips met, this time not desperate, not frantic, but tender, a promise sealed in the storm around them. Are you safe? She whispered, clinging to him. For as long as I have you, he murmured, holding her tighter. Nothing else matters. The betrayer struggled to rise from the ground, but sirens now wailed in the distance, police and authorities responding. Their plan, the chaos, the betrayal, it was over. Or so it seemed. As Damian and Evelyn watched from the rooftop, rain washing over them, the camera, or fate, pans to a shadow across the city streets. A figure watching, unseen, smiling. A single message flashed on a phone screen in their hand. This was just the beginning. Evelyn pressed closer to Damian, heart pounding, but in his arms, she found a strength she hadn't known she possessed. Love had survived fire, betrayal, and death. But the world outside was far from safe, and one question lingered in the stormy night. Had they truly won, or was the real battle just beginning? The city was quiet now, washed clean by rain, the chaos of the past weeks a fading nightmare. Evelyn stood on the balcony of Blackwell Tower, the skyline glittering beneath the early morning sun. She held a cup of coffee, though she barely tasted it. Her mind replayed the storm, the explosions, the betrayals, and the love that had survived it all. Behind her, Damian stepped onto the balcony, his presence a comforting weight. He wrapped an arm around her waist, pulling her close. You're staring at the skyline like it's a puzzle, he murmured. Evelyn leaned into him. It feels surreal that we made it through. Damian pressed a kiss to her temple. We did. And we'll keep surviving. Together. No contracts, no secrets, just us. She smiled, heart full, though a flicker of caution lingered. I never thought a 6-month contract could lead to this. Neither did I, he admitted, chuckling softly. But I guess life has a way of surprising even billionaires. Evelyn laughed, the sound light and unburdened, and for a moment, the weight of everything they had endured lifted. She looked up at him, eyes sparkling. What now? Damian's gray eyes softened, fierce and tender at the same time. Now, we rebuild. The company, our lives, everything. And maybe, finally, we can breathe without looking over our shoulders. Evelyn rested her head on his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart. I like the sound of that. For a few peaceful moments, there was only them, the storm behind them, love between them, and the promise of a future they would face together. But as the city stretched out below, a shadow flitted across the streets. A faint vibration in Damian's phone made him frown. He checked it, then looked down at Evelyn with a half-smile, half-grimace. Someone's not ready to let us rest, he said quietly. Evelyn tightened her grip on his hand, heart racing, not with fear, but with resolve. Then we face them, together. Damian kissed her forehead, a vow in the stormy morning light. Always. And high above the city, two hearts that had survived fire, betrayal, and the impossible stood ready. For love, and for each other, there was nothing they couldn't face. The storm was over, but the game of shadows had only just begun.